Aaron Gilmore.
Mr. Speaker, I rise to support the Cold Creek South Taranaki Rural Supply Bill at its third reading. And I just want to touch on a couple of things that haven't been mentioned here in summing up this bill, which I look forward to being passed, and the people and users of the scheme can finally, after nearly 30 years, take ownership and control of the scheme that they desire to do so. And about 2 years ago, in October, the Council voted 6-4 in favour of the transfer of the scheme and the undertaking of this bill that Chester Burrows, that fine member from Taranaki, brought to Parliament in October 2011. And I think that it's important to note that this is the end of a long-ranging process that has occurred for many months and many years throughout this Parliament as well. I think also it's one of the strange things that hasn't been touched on that I would like to touch on quickly is that this scheme actually feeds 21,000 cows, Mr. Speaker, I discovered in a bit of research. 21,000 cows use the water from the scheme. And that contributes well and strongly to that economy of South Taranaki and to New Zealand generally. And I think it's important that we understand that the importance of that to not only the people of South Taranaki but the people of New Zealand generally, and the milk that 21,000 cows produces and the export earnings that does provide. Mr. Speaker, I believe that this is a bill with a good process in place. It deals with the problems that have been put forward by the members that have been voting against it. I do not believe that the so-called strange referendum put forward by New Zealand First is in the best interest of either the users, either the council or the people generally in South Taranaki that use this water, all those in the wider area, and it would be a complete waste of time and money, Mr. Speaker. Look, I think this bill is one of those ones which brings to an end something which we understand brings local users to own the local assets in a way which is best for them and best for the wider community, and that's something that this government supports wholeheartedly. Thank you.
I call Nikki Wagner.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I rise to support this bill also at its third reading. And as we finish this reading, I want to thank the Honourable Chester Burrows for his work. He is a very hard-working and effective local MP. And I also want to thank the committee. They debated this in full. We went through all the details with a fine-tooth comb. And finally, thank the submitters for being involved in the process. But I just want to clarify that this bill is not about transferring the Cold Creek Rural Water Supply Scheme to the Cold Creek Community Water Supply Limited. It's about establishing a process that must be followed, a process for the South Taranaki District Council to make that transfer. Now, this transfer is from the council to the local people who built the scheme in the late 1980s with a taxpayer's subsidy, and these people are those that still use the scheme. And it was a community collaboration to provide quality water, and the community has managed it and paid for its operation since 2001. Now, this bill prescribes the process required to make the transfer. It requires that before any transfer is made, the Council must consult with a medical officer of health for Taranaki and every iwi authority whose rohi comes within the scheme's distribution area and make their views publicly available. Then a transfer plan must be prepared by the company, and this must include analysis of the contractual arrangements with the council and an estimate of the likely future capital and operating costs of the company. It also has to make an assessment of the company's ability to maintain and operate the scheme for all residents, even if those properties change hands or they're leased to others in the future, how much it's going to cost and their ability to maintain and operate the scheme for the next 30 years. And as well as that, they must agree to provide water to the Opunaki residents in certain emergencies. And finally, they have to prepare a protocol that provides for the appropriate consultation by the company with every iwi authority in the scheme's distribution area. Then they have to have a referendum. And that referendum covers eligible voters, which are residents in the properties that are serviced by the scheme or capable of being serviced by the scheme or within the scheme distribution area. Then the transfer can only occur if 50% of those people vote in the referendum to support that transfer. This is a case of local people committing to their community, of local people working collaboratively for nearly 30 years to create a community asset. The bill provides a process requiring significant local consultation and a community referendum so that the voters can have their say about their community. I commend the bill to the House.
Members, this debate has concluded. The question is that the motion be agreed to. Those of that opinion will say aye. Aye. To the contrary, no. The ayes have it. No. A party vote's been called for. I'll ask the clerk for a party vote.
New Zealand National.
59 votes in favour.
New Zealand Labour.
34 votes in favour.
Green Party.
14 votes opposed.
New Zealand First.
7 votes opposed.
Māori Party.
2 votes opposed.
Mana.
1 vote opposed.
Act New Zealand.
1 vote in favour.
United Future.
1 in favour.
Brendan Horan.
1 in favour.
Members, the ayes are 96, the noes are 24. The motion is agreed to.
South Taranaki District Council Cold Creek Rural Water Supply Bill, third reading.
Call on Members' Order of the Day number 1.
Call for